Sometimes in life, you are not tired because you are doing too much. You are tired because there is no off switch in your mind. You still sleep. Some nights, you even get a full 8 hours. You eat well enough. You go to work every morning. You open your laptop, check Slack, reply to emails, sit through Zoom meetings, nod at the right moments, smile at the right times. From the outside, everything runs smoothly. But inside, it feels like a room filled with too many overlapping noises. Not loud noise. Small, constant, sticky noise like background electricity. Notifications, deadlines, KPIs. The question, who is responsible for this? Your boss's look when you say, "I'll review it," and that strange feeling that if you slow down for even a second, you will fall behind. And the most confusing part is this. You have already rested, yet you are still tired. There's a kind of rest many people in American corporate life live with, taking a few PTO days but still checking emails just to be safe. An evening with no meetings, yet your mind replays the meeting that just ended, grading yourself. Did I say something stupid? Did I hurt my image? A weekend of doing nothing, yet your hand keeps opening your phone, scrolling news, scrolling LinkedIn, scrolling success stories, and somehow, your chest feels heavier. You think you are resting, but your nervous system is not. It is still on alert mode. Because your body cannot tell the difference between a tiger in the forest and a chain of passive-aggressive emails. It only reads one thing: threat. A threat to your reputation, to your performance review, to whether you are still in control of your work, to rent, insurance, 401k, to the fact that you have built your entire adult life around a schedule that does not allow you to fall. So you lie down to rest, but inside, a part of you is still on guard. You sleep, but the sleep is not truly deep. You wake up, but you feel like you never really shut down. This kind of tired is not like being tired after a run. It is the tiredness of being stretched for too long without realizing it. Silent burnout does not make you burst into tears. It makes you feel empty. You still function. You are still high functioning, but everything costs a little more effort. Replying to a message feels heavy. Opening a file feels exhausting. Not because you are lazy, but because your brain has been doing an unnamed job for a very long time, keeping you okay inside a system that constantly requires you to prove your value. At work, the most exhausting part is rarely the workload. It is the number of times you have to self-regulate each day. You regulate your voice to sound professional even when you are tense. You regulate your facial expressions so you do not show how tired you are. You regulate your reaction when someone pings you at 4:58 p.m. with quick question. You regulate your irritation to stay polite. You regulate your confusion to appear confident. And you regulate yourself. And the price of constant regulation is this. By the time you get home, you no longer have the energy to live like a normal human being. You just want silence. You want to disappear. You want your mind to stop running. But then you do something very common. You use stimulation to forget stimulation. You watch one more episode, scroll one more time, eat a little more. Not because you are indulgent, but because your brain is trying to sedate itself. It just does not know how to name it. So this kind of rest does not restore you. It only changes the form of the noise. Slack turns into TikTok. Meetings turn into comments. Deadlines turn into news feeds. You leave one screen for another and wonder why you are still tired. There is a moment many people, especially those between 28 and 40, working office jobs with relatively stable careers, will recognize. You are not tired because you lack ability. You are tired because you have no space. Space for your brain to process life. Space for your emotions to land. Space where you do not have to react to everything. And this is where emotional control may sound luxurious, but is actually very practical. What exhausts you is not only what happens, but your automatic reaction to what happens. An email arrives, your heart jumps. Slack pings, your shoulders tense. Your calendar changes, your stomach tightens. You have not even read the content yet, but your body has already responded. That reaction is so fast you think it is your personality, but it is only a nervous system habit. The important part is this: you cannot control the corporate environment. It is designed to always have work, always have priorities, always have something that requires you to prove yourself. But you can reclaim one very small, yet very powerful right. The right to choose your reaction. Not in a be positive way. Not by telling yourself to be grateful, but through a subtler move, creating a gap between stimulus and response. Just 1 second. At most, 2 seconds. Enough for you to notice. This is the feeling of being pressured. This is me being afraid of being judged. This is me rushing to prove something. And when you name it correctly, it stops pulling you away. You do not need to act indifferent. You do not need to quit your job. You only need to work without letting the job drive your nervous system. I have seen this clearly in a certain type of person in the office. The one who always replies immediately. An email arrives. They reply. A message comes. They jump in. A meeting changes. They apologize instantly. Rearrange everything instantly. Tense up instantly. They look professional, responsive, sharp. But after a few years, they are tired in a way sleep cannot fix. Because their body has learned that everything is urgent. And when everything is urgent, there is never any peace. Work calmer does not mean working slowly for the sake of it. It means working from a calmer nervous system, so you are not burned out by things that are, at the end of the day, just work. You still have deadlines, performance reviews, meaningless meetings you cannot avoid. But the way you enter them changes. You start to realize not every message is an alarm. Not every question is judgment. Not every email needs to be answered as if it were a moral exam. And when you react less, something strange happens. You begin to regain energy. Not an excited kind of energy, but a baseline energy. A lightness in your mind. The feeling that I am still here, instead of always feeling pulled away from yourself. Many people think recovering from burnout requires long breaks. Sometimes it does. But there is a more important part of recovery that few people talk about. You need to learn how to rest while you are working. Rest is not leaving the office. Rest is a moment inside you where you do not react. A moment where fear does not control your words. A moment where you respond from clarity, not panic. You can be sitting in front of your laptop, but inside, you are no longer running. You are still working, but you are not attacking yourself every minute in your mind. You are not forcing yourself to be right all the time. You allow yourself to do one thing at a time instead of doing everything at once in your thoughts. It sounds small, true, but these small things are what pull you out of chronic exhaustion. Because chronic exhaustion rarely comes from one big fall. It comes from 1,000 tiny tensions each day, not big enough to notice, but enough to wear you down. If you have been feeling tired lately, even after resting, the problem may not be the number of hours you sleep. The problem may be that there's no place in your day where your brain is truly at peace. Notice one detail. When you open your laptop in the morning, do you feel rushed inside? When you read an email, do you hold your breath? When you see someone's name on Slack, do you tense up? You do not need to fix it immediately. Just notice. Because that noticing is the starting point of emotional control. Not control to become a robot, but control so you are not thrown around by things that are not worth your soul. You are still a responsible person, still capable, still going to complete your work, just from a calmer place. Work calmer, not so you can do more, but so that when the workday ends, there is still a part of you left for life. And that night, when you lie down, you do not need to recover because you did not burn yourself all day. You do not need to quit your job, nor do you need to be stronger. You only need to stop giving everything the power to trigger an alarm inside you. Tomorrow, when an urgent message arrives, try pausing for one beat before responding. If you are living in corporate stress and want to work more calmly, this story is about burnout, mental noise, and how controlling your reactions helps you keep yourself. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel. We will meet again in the next stories. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me and allowing me to be here with you. Rest well. Tomorrow is a new day. I wish you peace and happiness.